Today we're going to use this problem, 48 times 26, to practice a few different methods of multiplication. The first method that we will use is the box method. In the box method, we need to take each number that we're multiplying and break it apart into its place values. So we'll have 40 and 8 times 20 and 6. And then in each box, we will put the product of the two numbers that need to make it. So 40 times 20 will go in this box. I know that 4 times 2 is 8, but I need to multiply by a 10 for the 40 and a 10 from the 20, so my answer is 800. 8 times 20, well, I know 8 times 2 is 16, and then there's no 10 to multiply by here, but there is one over here. 40 times 6, well, 4 times 6 is 24, and I only have one 10 to multiply by here. And then finally, 8 times 6 is easy, that's 48. Then I just need to take all of those numbers and add them together to get my answer. When you do this part, make sure that you're very careful that all of your ones places end up together, all nice in a little line, because if you put them in the wrong place, then you'll be adding ones in the tens column instead of in the ones column where they belong. So I have a lot of zeros and then an 8, that's easy. 6 plus 4 makes 10, another 4 is 14. I put the ones at the bottom and then I regroup a 10 into the next column. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 1 more is 10, plus 2 is 12. I can put my ones here. There's no additional column where I need to put the extra 10, so I can just put that in my answer. So my answer is 1,248. Now let's try a partial products method. In this method, we stack the numbers together like in the standard algorithm. But as we're multiplying the parts, we record what it is that we're multiplying so that we can make sure that we get all of the parts of each number. So I'm going to start here in the lower right in the ones place on the second number. I'm going to multiply the two ones places together. So 6 times 8, well, that's 48. Then I'm going to move over and multiply this ones place by this tens place. 6 times 40, well, I know 6 times 4 is 24, but I need to multiply that by a 10, so that's 240. Notice that I'm paying really close attention to line up my ones and my tens so that when I add everything together at the end, it will be really easy. Then I need to, now that I've multiplied the ones place by all of the digits in the top number, now I'm going to move in the second number to the tens place. So 20 here times 8. Well, 2 times 8 is 16, and multiply that by 10 to get 160. And then finally, I'm going to multiply the two tens places together, 20 times 40. 2 times 4 is 8, times 2 tens is times 100. And so I can add those together now. 8 plus 0, 0, 0 is 8, that's easy. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus another 4 is 14. I'll put the 4 in the ones place here, and then regroup the next 10 in the next column. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus another 1 and 1 would make 12. I don't have another column to regroup into, so I can just put this 12 in my answer, and my answer is 1,248. Now let's try multiplying this with the standard algorithm. We start by stacking the numbers on top of each other. And then, just like in the partial product strategy, we start in the lower right with the ones place in the second number. We multiply that by the ones place in the first number. 6 times 8 is 48. But this time, I'm only going to write down the ones place, and then I'm going to make a little note here that I need to add 4 to my next answer because of the 48. Then I'm going to go in order, still in the ones place on the bottom row, and multiply it by the tens place in the first row. So 6 times 4 is 24, but now I have to add 4 to that answer. So 24 plus 4 is 28. I don't have another column that I'm multiplying to regroup that 20 onto, so that's why it goes in as part of my answer. Now that I'm finished multiplying the ones place by this whole number, I'm going to cross this out because I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to move over to the tens place. I'm going to start a new line in my answer. I'm going to put a 0 to show that there are no ones because we've moved into the tens place. And now 2 times 8 is 16. So I put the 6 from the ones here, and then I make a little note that I need to add 1 to my next answer to regroup that. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And now I'm finished multiplying the tens by this whole number, so I can add together the numbers that I have here, and that should give me my answer. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. I'll put the ones here and regroup a 1 into the next column. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. I don't have another column to regroup into, so I'm just putting the whole 12 in my answer. So my answer is 1,248. The last method that we're going to use to multiply these two numbers is called the lattice method. Now, this method looks very confusing, but I promise if you follow the steps, it's really very simple. Kind of like the box method, we need to make boxes for all of our numbers, but instead of breaking our numbers apart into place values, we're only going to use the digits. And also, we're going to add these extra little lines that help us keep our answers nice and organized. So I'm going to multiply 48 times 26. In this box, I'm going to put 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. That's 0 tens and 8 ones. 8 times 2 is 16. That's 1 10 and 6 ones. 4 times 6 is 24. So that's 2 tens and 4 ones. And 8 times 6 is 48. So that's 4 tens and 8 ones. Now, the tricky part is when we add, we follow these diagonal lines that we've drawn, and that helps us keep our place values straight. So in the first place value, in the ones place, I'm only going to have this 8 because it's the only number under this line. Then I'm going to add this row together. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. I'm putting the 4 from the ones place here, and I'm regrouping that 10 from the 14 into the next row that I'm going to add. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 8 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. Again, I put the ones here and then regrouped the 10 into the next row that I'm adding, and then I have just 1 plus 0 is 1 here. So my answer goes in this order: 1, 2, 4, 8. So my answer is 1,248.